Hello and welcome everybody to the WCS Europe Premier League Season 2, Day 2. I'm of course Apollo, joined by Kalaris, and today is a special day.
It certainly is, because we now have a new sponsor. Welcome to Roccat. A big thank you for them for supporting esports. They've already sponsored things such as Home Story Cup and Dimaga, which sadly is not in Season 3 right now. But big thank you to Roccat, and you can check out them at facebook.com/Roccat. And also, if you like their page and comment the announcement post that they made, you could be in with a chance of winning over $200 worth of prizes, including a mouse mat, a mouse, and a keyboard, which is pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome indeed. So thank you very much for Roccat for joining the team here in the WCS Europe Premier League. So it is time to continue on with today's show. This is day 2, remember, of 3 days this week. We had yesterday to open up the round of 32. We'll have tomorrow, which is a little bit different than usual. We only had 2 days a week last season, but we have 3 days this week, 3 days the following week, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then 2 days the week after. Each time is the same time at 6 p.m. here, local time. Every single time. It's always the same. It's not too difficult to get lost with that. And moving on, though, let's talk a little bit about yesterday, Claris. What a day to do to start us off in the Premier League.
Yeah, it wouldn't be WCS Europe without a first day of explosions and craziness, as we had some very interesting results, indeed.
Oh, I mean, we had 4GG and Targa go through the group, and I was like, whoa. And they're playing for a lot of money in this tournament. $100,000, 10,000 WCS points. And a player that really wanted the money, the points, most importantly the points, was Naniwa, who was in 3rd place. And then we, I mean, that's a big surprise, right?
Of course.
3rd place?
It was amazing to see Targa's adaptation in those series as well. From the very first series to then being able to defeat Naniwa in that final one. And Naniwa now out of Premier League, falls down to Challenger. He has to make those points up somewhere else if he wants to go to BlizzCon, be it in Intel Extreme Masters New York, be it if he goes to DreamHack Bucharest.
That's right.
So
that's right. 2 Tier 1 tournaments left this year for him to grab onto. And in last place, we had Todd, which was a little bit sad, of course. Did attempt 2 times in a row to do well in the Premier League, unfortunately fallen a little bit short. But congratulations goes over to 4GG and Targa, who will make it to the round of 16 to play live from the Cologne studios. Targa, the special boy in Group A. But now, let's focus a little bit on today's group, which is Group B in the WCS Europe Premier League. And we have some fantastic players here, 4 great players, and I'd say one of the most all-round groups that we have here in the WCS.
Yeah, very balanced indeed. We can take a look at those players now. We start things off with duckdeok, Happy, Sase, and TLO. Very strong rounded group of players.
I mean, let's talk about the players from left to right here. With duckdeok, of course, the European champion from last season, is playing today to defend his title. Well, let's just say he's... let's imagine a world where StarCraft players had belts, like in the WWE back in the day, or WWF back then it was. But unfortunately, that's not what he has. He's got a StarCraft 2 trophy. And he's here to defend it in the Season 3. But he has 3 contenders here in the likes of Happy, first of all.
He certainly does. Happy's been one of the most consistent players in Premier League, I want to say, thus far in WCS Europe, having finished pretty highly in Season 1, but in Season 2, not really attaining the same heights, but still claiming spots here. Instantly, as he fell down into Challenger, bang, 1 series, goes straight back up into Premier, because that is where he always has to be. WCS Europe, he's proved himself as one of Europe's strongest, but can he prove it once again here today?
The thing with Happy is that there's always so much hype around this guy. He came into the WCS Season 1 as the player to win it all. And every pro player was saying that it was going to be Happy because he was winning everything online. He was top 2 of the Grandmaster ladder with Lucifron always. They were the top 2 Terran players. But he just hasn't put the performance out there in the season so far. As you mentioned, got top 8 in Season 1, which is a good start, but fell short, round of 16 in Season 2, which is really short for him. But we'll see how well he can perform in Season 3. But another player, as we can see coming up next, who does need, likewise, to put performances out there in the WCS.
Oh, yeah. It's weird. Sase is off in his own little corner of the world right now. For a lot of people, he's in Taiwan and just trying to play things out there. He's been playing in the TESL for a long time as well, and not performing too badly there. But aside from that, you don't see him too many other places. I believe he went to DreamHack Stockholm and maybe he went to MLG. But aside from that, not too many appearances of Sase, and he's been in Challenger League for the past season, so really has to make a mark here.
He's played 2 seasons in Challenger League, getting knocked out in the round of 32 in Premier League, having to play in Challenger straight away, and then he didn't even make it out of Challenger. He got stuck in Challenger League to play in Season 2, but he's now finally back to where he begun the WCS. Only ranked 51, as you can see, has got a long way to make it back to the top of where he was through a lot of 2012. But the big spotlight alongside duckdeok in this group is this last player, TLO.
As you've previously mentioned during the day, he has the world of weight on his shoulders here. I mean, TLO, he carries a lot of the hopes of foreigners across the world right now. He's one player that has the opportunity to gain enough points to then move towards BlizzCon. If he performs well today and throughout the season, there's a very good shot.
There's a very good shot. He's only a couple of hundred points outside of the top 16 currently. He's sitting at 2,025 points. To get into the top 16, it's roughly 2,400.
Yeah.
Only, just about 400 points to get in there, which he would need to obtain with a top 8 finish minimum. To make sure he stays in there, he has to go to the season finals. He needs to represent Europe and go to Season 3 finals. And that begins right here in the round of 32 in Group B. And those are our 4 players that we have today. And what a great 4 players they are. Fantastic group. Well, let's find out who do they play against and how the bracket works out.
Well, our first match of the day will be duckdeok versus TLO, and then we shall have Happy versus Sase. Dual tournament format, just like you all know. Here, as winners, will play winners in that top spot to claim that first spot in the round of 16. Then losers will play losers in the lower bracket, determine who is the first player to fall out of Premier League going into Challenger. And then the winner of that does advance on to play against the loser of that upper bracket to see who gets that second round of 16 spot.
So those 2 players that we talked about, which are key focus points of today's group, go up against each other to begin Group B. TLO will face off against the European champion duckdeok. But bear in mind, and I'll say this now and get it out the way, duckdeok will play from Korea just like he did in the round of 32 last season. We saw an interesting style.
Yeah.
Hence the word interesting style from duckdeok last season. And we'll see what he can do here. But this really gives TLO a bit of an edge coming in. Despite duckdeok being the European champion, despite him being that guy that had such an amazing run through Stefano, Naniwa, Grubby, Lucifron, all these top players in Season 2, he now is in the round of 32. And are we going to see another upset? Day 1, Naniwa was knocked out. Can we have the European champion knocked out in Day 2?
I mean, we've had one of the top 8 from previous season already knocked out, and we've only had 1 broadcast. So we've had 1 of 8 of each category here. Now we could have 2 of 8 of each category if duckdeok is not able to perform here today. If he goes out, man, my mind's going to be blown.
I know, right? It's crazy, but the group is so good all around. You've got TLO, duckdeok, and then Sase and Happy. And also, you'd be kind of surprised if Happy didn't make it to another round of 16.
Yep. You'd
surprised, considering the name that Sase has and the power he has behind that name, that he wouldn't make it to the round of 16. That's what makes this group so difficult, because it's very hard to predict which player is going to make it through. And to start us off, European champion of Season 2, who had a bit of a weaker performance at the season finals, but considering his group, Naniwa and Tasia he had to play against, Naniwa finally getting his revenge, and Tasia just on form at the moment this summer.
Yeah.
It was a very difficult group to advance from. But here's his chance to kind of re-establish his name, just to make sure, hey guys, I know you may have had a bit of doubt at me at the Season 2 finals, but don't worry, I can win back-to-back. And imagine if he did win back-to-back. There'd be a lot of quackers in the WCS studios.
That certainly would be. My question here in this group is who is going to get quacked? Because I'm imagining and I'm anticipating a lot of aggression here from duckdeok, as we saw in the round of 32 last season. So let's jump into game number 1, guys, to find out if TLO can defeat the champion of Season 2, as we have spawning up to the top left-hand corner here, representing MVP in Korea. He is duckdeok, Season 2 champion. And spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner, our German representative, as well as representing Team Liquid, he is TLO.
All right, so the big focus point here, and I spoke a little bit to TLO earlier on, actually. I had the chance to speak to him. We are friends. Not saying that I'm not friends with duckdeok, but he doesn't speak very good English, and it is a little bit difficult to communicate with him, unless he's drunk. And then it's a different story. But TLO, I'll be honest again. I like to be honest with you guys at home and with you, Clara.
So kind.
I don't like to lie to you.
Thanks.
TLO said he was very nervous coming to today's group, more so than he's been for a very long time, because he realizes the weight that's on his shoulders.
Yeah.
And that weight is that he could be the one. He could be the only player that isn't Korean to play at BlizzCon. But before we talk about that, we have a 12 Forge coming down from duckdeok. TLO in his history and his past has gone for hatchery first a lot. Spawning pool is the option, and he's sending his Overlord around where the cannon rush could potentially happen. But this early Forge, this hurts his economy, man. It's looking like a cannon rush.
Yeah, it certainly is doing. So duckdeok here from the very get-go, kind of as we were expecting, looking for opportunities very, very quickly to try and punish his opponent. But TLO's giving in none of that. And I think that's an extremely strong decision by TLO.
And I think it's a stronger decision for duckdeok not to do it in the first place, too. Because that's a 12 Forge, guys. That's not a 12 Forge expand. It will be, but that's not what his original plan was, because if that was a hatchery first, he was cannon rushing 100%. But upon seeing spawner pool, he's like, I can't do it. So unfortunately for duckdeok, through his build and strategy choice here to open up game number 1, he has slowed himself down. This could have been Nexus first. That Nexus could have been almost completed by now.
Yeah. Exactly. Now, in duckdeok here, he just has to relegate himself to a little bit of a backwards position, whilst TLO, he's very content with what's actually happening here. I mean, he's seen the timing of the Forge. He knows exactly what's going on with the gateway now on the way as well. So he knows what's up. Yeah,
TLO was very eager to find out what that probe was doing there, and is it going to do any cannon rushes, even sending Zerglings to protect that drone in hatchery or on his third base. He's very well aware of duckdeok's playstyle in Season 2, round of 32, before he could make it into the round of 16. As mentioned, as you said, very aggressive, and in StarCraft terms, very cheesy.
Or special tactics, depending on who you are.
Or he pulled... Yeah, I mean, you could look at it that way. You could say he's got a lot of special tactics. He's got a lot of special builds to trick his opponents.
Why I was going to get really angry at us one day, man. But anyway, TLO now sending his Zerglings around looking for pylons, and, well, he hasn't really found any, because duckdeok hasn't had the opportunity to do so. He's getting a cybernetics core in that wall as well. I actually really like the wall of duckdeok. It's very, very neat, very precise, but everything's being kept an eye on by these overlords for TLO.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be on full patrol of the natural gases. The natural gas is one of the biggest indicators if there's going to be any aggression from a Protoss player. If you don't take the gases, you're not teching up, you're not spending your gas, which means you have a lot of minerals in the bank, because the longer the game goes on, the more probes you have, the more money you're going to bring in. And if the gases aren't taken, where are the money? Where's that money? Where's the minerals? Is it a third Nexus coming down, which the Overlord can go check? Or is it a bunch of gateways? And that's what TLO eagerly going to be looking for on that natural.
And that Mothership core now on the way for duckdeok, as well as Warp Gate Tech. Not really too much going on in either camp here. Just the committal to a sentry here for duckdeok to try and keep himself safe. Interestingly enough, because of the gateway positioning, I think he has to bring the sentry around from outside to get it in there. But it's minor here right now.
Yeah, I mean, so far this is just a very standard setup from both players. Despite duckdeok taking a bit of a hit early on, he's going to ramp it up a little bit here with a very fast third Nexus coming down. And this will be spotted immediately because the Overlord saw the probe move out. Yeah. The Zergling sees it anyway, and now TLO's like, oh, you devil.
You jammy dodger. And, well, the Zergling goes down, but this is opportunity for TLO to make decisions. What does he do? Does he get super, super economy-focused, or does he go aggressive? I think it might be the economy focus.
Well, I mean, let's just put it in a couple of ways for you guys. I think he will be economy-focused, and the reason for that is because if he tries to be super aggressive towards this and messes up, the game is over. Yeah. Because duckdeok has way too much money, will be just so far ahead because of this early third Nexus. So I think TLO would take the approach mentally saying, all right, that's a risk. Do I want to risk this run? I'm probably good enough to beat this guy. So I think TLO will look, as we can see, double evolution chambers coming down to upgrade twice, and I'm pretty sure he'll take a really fast fourth hatchery as well on the left-hand side of the map and just completely drone up. It's not worth the risk.
Yep, certainly so. TLO here, I mean, with being on 62 drones right now, he has the opportunity, if he wants to go for that third base very quickly. Overlord gets sent in, and for TLO, it really hasn't seen too much at all. There's a robo facility going down, and the Overlord will see that on the natural. So that's a good pickup in terms of scouting, but aside from that, there's not much else for him to even see right now.
Well, that may force TLO to use Mutalisk in this game, bear in mind, because without a Stargate play, there's absolutely nothing that could deal with a high amount of Mutalisks. Currently, it's pure focus on Zergling upgrades, but it doesn't really matter that he spent a lot of money on upgrades because he has a lot of gas at this point. He can very easily take that one extractor which is missing on the third base, take more extractors on the left-hand side. I wonder what TLO's tech choice is going to be here. Upon seeing the robotics facility, he knows that the Colossus are going to come down fast. So is he going to really focus on Hydralisk, which is a composition we see so often? I don't think so. I think it's either going to be pure Zerglings up to Ultras really fast, or the Spire comes down.
Well, let's get Pneumatized Carapace as well here, just to keep himself extra ability, give him extra ability to end up scouting if he would like to, as well as getting those Overlords out of pesky positions. But that's a lot of Zerglings in production here. I'm wondering how he's going to try and pressure this. It's just going to be a flood of Zerglings. Still hasn't really chosen any tech. There's the Roach Warren going down, but duckdeok sees that instantly.
Yeah, he's going up to 60-odd Zerglings here, and he will have 1/1 upgrade, so he's definitely going to try to put some pressure on, but where can it really work? A Baneling Nest is coming down as well. A unique star coming out from TLO. We may see him.
He cancelled the Roach Warren.
Yeah,
and actually
a Baneling Nest.
Yeah.
So with the Baneling Nest coming in, we may see him decide to play a Ling Baneling style. We may even see Ventral Sax research for the Overlords. But for now, the Zerglings are coming in. But that's a lot of them.
That is a lot of Zerglings.
+1 attack is done for the Zerglings. Photon Overcharge have activated as well. Can he get the Nexus here?
Ooh, they could do
not.
a lot of damage. +1 weapons is done for those Zealots, but it's only really negating the fact that there is Carapace there. So not too much of a difference. That is a ton of Zerglings. He has 3 Zealots, 3
and there's
Sentries
more
left.
coming as well.
Uh-oh, this Nexus could easily fall here. Photon Overcharge might just not be enough here. TLO making a ton of units.
5 gateways in production, but they're not ready yet. Only 3 are active.
This is really, really bad here for duckdeok. He needs to save this Nexus. Absolutely 100% cannot lose this. The probe's coming off the line for the battle as well. He's already lost 7.
And he holds.
Wow.
For now, he holds. Good hold there from duckdeok. 14 Banelings, though. That's the next follow-up here. And without any sentries down there, they can just actually walk up and blow it up.
Yeah, they could. This is going to be a little bit scary here for duckdeok. What's he going to do in response? I think he didn't see the Banelings morphing in.
No.
He always thought it was going to be a Roach Warren. And now is only the first time he sees these Banelings. And now it's panic mode as those Banelings crash into some pylons as well as the cannon. Zerglings wrap around, kill off the Nexus. duckdeok supply blocked.
You only meant to blow the bloody doors off, Colaris. The Nexus is gone.
It's gone, and now duckdeok scrambling for the defense. He has to clean this up. He has to do something. But I don't know what he can do. He has Colossi. Does he just go all in or something?
From this position, duckdeok is in trouble, and TLO starts this series with a bang, killing that Nexus off, and that's a big pick-off for the German player. He's got decent creep spread. He's got fantastic upgrades coming in. But as you said, can he deal with the Colossus at this moment? He's only got Zerglings. He does have Banelings. Maybe if he can get a full surround, but there's a lot of sentries. There's a lot of energy now.
Exactly.
So that's the problem. If TLO is to lose his 4th base here, and the 3rd Nexus reestablishes itself back up, the game's almost equalized, by the way.
He could certainly spread creep at that location, and he is going to as well. So that's going to delay the 3rd base from going down again here from duckdeok. Ultralisk Cavern behind this as well. TLO, all he has to do is buy time for himself. He needs to come in from multiple fronts, though, as you said. But even still, negating that with sentries will be fine. That's
a lot of Banelings coming in. The Ultralisk Cavern coming down, but that won't be used now because this attack is here. And duckdeok, the European champion, can he break through TLO? Or will TLO keep the defense strong here? Force field's going to be absolutely crucial here. No cracks are allowed.
Not at all. He throws down the force fields, realizing the Baneling's there. Time warp at the back as well to try and slow those down. Those 2 Colossi have to do big damage. The reinforcements have been cut off here by the Zerglings and Banelings.
Here we go. Oh, no, here we go. No, wait. Wait. Wait a minute, guys.
Chill, relax.
TLO's waiting. He's got 1 Ultras on the way. 2-2 is almost done. It's a smart decision to wait for 2-2 here.
Very much so, and he's actually just going to go in once again. There's a few cracks in that, but not enough. Banelings actually got through. These Colossi should be able to clean up a lot of this. TLO's trying to filter through. He's got 2 Ultralisks on the way. Still needs to buy a lot of time.
3 Ultralisks may be enough here, if he saves these Lings and Banelings, or at least saves a lot of his units, but he gets in there once again.
Oh, Zerglings are going to try and kill off that Colossus, but they don't get it. It's just barely down. Oh, the Hero Queen from the back does bring it down in the end.
And these 5 Ultralisks and 6 Zerglings in the production, they should be enough. There's just not enough power. There's not enough oomph with this Protoss army that duckdeok has. It depends on where the Ultras go. Are they save it? Do they go in one at a time? That's the only mistakes really TLO can make at this point.
Still quite a bit of firepower here from duckdeok. He does have +2 weapons, but the Ultralisks, they all need to rendezvous with one another. They're coming out in sporadic locations, not really accumulating in position. And now he's just has to come in from both sides here and try and crush this. Drones come off the line as well for TLO. He knows he's in trouble. It's 58 army supply to 63. And transfusing the Ultralisks as well. Very, very strong here by TLO.
Yeah, and it looks like TLO should be able to push through this, man. Stalker's Colossus not the best against Ultralisks, and the Colossus falls. And it looks like with the reinforcements coming in, 3 more Ultras and 14 Zerglings, even with an Infestor coming in. Looks like TLO is going to hold on to this game just about.
He knows he's very much on the verge here of winning. And there you go, GG. TLO takes game number 1. Very, very impressive stuff from him there. But I was not expecting that from duckdeok. I wasn't expecting him to go for a heavy macro focus.
Yeah, it was super interesting there because I thought, well, we both thought he'd be going for the opposite. But the thing is, in StarCraft 2, yes, you can go for a super fast, aggressive play, or you can be super greedy.
Like economical cheese.
Yeah, it's very similar because you get an advantage if your opponent isn't aggressive.
Yeah.
But guys, the players are actually requesting a break here. So we are going to go to a very quick commercial break. And when we return, so will the games.
All right, welcome back, guys, as we will jump into game number 2 after our short break. Well, before, yeah, whatever. As we have Acheron Wastes as our next map here between Liquid, TLO, and duckdeok. TLO currently 1 game up, with duckdeok doing something a little bit more unconventional to what we were anticipating.
Yeah, doing the opposite, actually, which gained him a bit of an edge when it came to his economy and his setup for the future of that game. But TLO, with his Zerglings, with 1 on upgrades, decided to destroy everything with duckdeok's plan. And we'll see what's going to happen on this next map. It is going to be Acheron Wastes, which is clearly duckdeok's choice of map here coming into this second map here in the series.
Yeah, definitely. Just able to establish as many bases as he would like to. Alternatively, could flip that on his head and say, hey, my first game in WCS Season 3, whilst playing in Korea, didn't quite go as well as my other games in round of 32, so maybe he gets aggressive. Who knows? He
can definitely play a similar style, though. It's going to be hard to tell. It's up to duckdeok on his choices to see if he can kind of make the comeback here.
All right, let's jump into game number 2 as we have spawning up to the top left-hand corner here, Red Zerg, representing Germany and Team Liquid. He is TLO. And out to the bottom right, we have our blue Protoss representing MVP in Korea. He is duckdeok.
All right, duckdeok had a memorable performance in Season 2 with his tears of happiness.
Yeah.
And here's a story for me, you, and everyone at home. Did you know, I don't know if duckdeok, I don't know if I'm meant to say this or not, but I was not told not to say it.
Yep.
And it wasn't... Anyway, duckdeok paid for his own way to the round of 16. Did you know that?
Did he really?
Yes.
I did not know this.
That's one of the main reasons he spoke of why he was so happy with his victory, is because MVP, his team, couldn't afford to send him, from what I was told. So he paid his own way to come to the WCS round of 16 in Cologne, Germany.
Wow.
And was so stressed out about performing well to make the money back. Of course, you get the money back. It's equalized in the round of 16, so it's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
It is equal. But the more and more he went into it, he realized the hard work that he'd put in had paid off through paying for himself to come in. That was one of the main reasons why it broke down. And then with the fans and the cheering, it all got to him at the end. True story.
True story. That is very cool. That's very,
True story.
very cool. And, you know, he certainly did well for himself. Garnered himself a few extra fans as well in the process.
If duckdeok wins this this tournament, I will lead the Quacks.
You will lead the Quacks. I'll join in.
Season 3 finals, I will lead the Quacks. If he picks up that trophy again, it starts quack, 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 and I will lead it.
Yep.
And if you want to come to the Cologne Studios to quack with me, you're welcome.
Cool stuff. Come quack.
Come quack.
Anyway.
Imagine if Idra was here. Come quack with the grack.
Oh, God. We need Idra now for the finals.
We need Idra to cast and analyze the finals, man. Come quack with the grack. All right, so the game. We have duckdeok, who's opened up for 1 Gateway Expand, 1 Gas, which is the riskier version of Gateway Expands. Because, for example, 4 Zerglings come in and annoy your day if you don't have the right stuff out fast enough. And especially with Warp Gate being researched first and Chrono Boost being spent into it, that's not Chrono Boost being spent into the Mothership core here. So, you know, that pylon is going to be pressured a little bit, that probe. He can run around. It can be a bit annoying here because usually you have the Mothership core, which can fire from above to aid the Zealot here.
Yep, and these Zerglings trying to micro themselves back. One does save itself, but the second one does not in the end. Pylon stays up, and the Zerglings just trying to get some scouting information, or at least find something a little bit vulnerable. Maybe if he had skipped the Mothership core, he could have tried to tickle away at 1 or 2 of the probes. But aside from that, he sees the double gateways. So TLO's pretty content with what he's seen thus far with his 3rd base going down.
And instead of injecting on his natural hatchery here, he decided to creep spread nice and early, which is going to connect to his 3rd base, which will help reinforcements to protect against what he can envision coming, which is a gateway pressure. And with a 4th gateway coming down now, it's pretty certain that we're going to see that. And I wouldn't be surprised in the main base if we had a bit of Chrono Boost on the Cybercore as well, which is actually happening. So everything is making shape now for duckdeok. This is how he's going to start this game up. He stopped his probe production as well, by the way. Okay, no, he started it again. I was going to say that's really, really low. It's only at 20. If he wants to cut it really low, he can go like 26 and just go wham, bam, and go for it. But ideally, you want to be probing behind this.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how this little bit of aggression is going to do here from duckdeok. I like the initial creep tumor as well for TLO, because even if you lava injected that natural, it's very difficult to afford everything with on that amount of lava. You can't afford spending all of that lava that early on too easily. Now TLO here just setting himself up with the queens, moving down here to try and defend this location. This creep spread helps so much. It's just hugging this cliff. But these queens now have so much extra mobility to bounce between those 2 locations.
Yeah, they do, and that's going to really aid this defense. But is it going to be enough now? Because trust me, Zealots are pretty good. With a Time Warp or Recall still available here, Roaches are going to be needed to be called in.
Yeah, exactly. This 4 gates worth of pressure here from duckdeok is very formidable. That's a lot of Zealots he's going to have. But at the same time, as you rightly said, that Time Warp, well, I mean, it's been expended, so Roaches are going to be far more effective in a direct engagement, and the Queens are actually going to kill off the Mothership core if they're not careful. Oh, pulls it back.
Yeah, pulls it back and is doing okay so far. They do have transfuses each too, and the Roaches are going to have to micro it very well here. Can TLO defend?
And we'll see. He's trying to micro the Roaches where he can, even pulling the drones away from all of this as well. It's very difficult to micro against this amount of Zealots. The Queen's trying desperately to get to that Mothership core, but is not going to be able to get there in the end. That's actually just getting out of hand. That's too many Zealots.
That's a lot of Zealots, man. That's a lot of Zealots. Their job is doing, they're doing more than what they're paid for here. They're working overtime.
They really are. These Roaches and Zerglings need to work extra overtime, and maybe even Sundays here to try and kill off this many.
Yeah. This is just very simple. It's a very simple attack coming out from duckdeok, and it's working wonders.
Go drone and Roach. Yeah, they killed 1 Zealot, but at the end, I think enough damage is being done here. duckdeok did get a supply block because the pylon died off, so he can't reinforce anymore. But still, a lot of damage has been done. Look at that, resources lost. 2,100 against 700.
Yeah, it looks like TLO will maybe eventually clean this up because he still has a lot of money coming in from his main base. So
yeah,
and he's got good micro with his Roaches too, which have been doing him an okay of a job. But behind this, duckdeok's miles ahead. He's got 37 probes to 24 drones. This is a beautiful position for duckdeok to fall back on what I would say an Immortal all-in.
Yeah.
I think an Immortal in would just seal the deal from this. I don't think he... Well, he could play out with a third base, but then he allows TLO to get back in the game. I'd be chrono boosting Immortals from this position.
Yeah.
I'd actually just be going for another attack to finish the game off.
Well, I mean, he's had it on the 4th gas as well, so if he's going to go for that, he could be extremely sentry heavy if he wants to go for that.
No, he absolutely... That's what the 4 gases are for here, for sentries. He's going to be up to, like, you know, 8, 12 sentries with this, a lot of energy, a couple of Immortals, complete out all-in.
And, even this Overlord that could have barely seen that Robo facility does not in the end and gets pushed away by sentries. So that's a little bit of an annoyance there for TLO, as he's going to try and break down these rocks and maybe go for a 4th base or something, but or just open the pathways. Regardless of what it is, he doesn't have the intel he needs to somehow try and hold this off.
Well, these roaches could pressure something, but probably not. Probably not here, because, I mean, if they can walk across the map, the Mothership's Cause is going to do quite a bit of damage to the roaches. By the time they get there, there's already a bunch of stuff. But what TLO's going to rely on is bailing hits here. He's got the Bailing S coming in, because he kind of figures out this is a very normal response from duckdeok after doing a lot of damage to follow up with this kind of attack. He sees it now too, but unfortunately for TLO, he's been pushed so far behind. At the moment, he's got 8 roaches and 2 zerglings to deal with this attack. The Spine Crawler, Desperation, it's actually not enough here for TLO.
No, I don't think so. There's a Reinforcing Immortal that's just about to finish as well for duckdeok, along with a lot of Zealots warping in over at the other side. And there you go, GG. TLO knows when he is done. Not allowing the engagement to happen in the end, but he knows what's up.
Yeah, that was a very simple game, unfortunately. He took way too much damage from the initial set of Zealots that came in, and from there on out, it was just a downhill slide. He could never recover. It was too slippy.
Too slippy. And now, game number 3. I'm not sure what map we're on, actually. I didn't see the map vetoes. I'm still hoping we have a few more of our new maps. We didn't see too much from yesterday. It was just Polar Night that really kind of worked its way in a few times. But for the most part, we've been on the previous ones.
Yeah, that's right. So it'll be interesting to see some. But I think right now in the round of 32, a lot of these players here are vetoing out new maps that they haven't been able to practice on that much, and just playing on the older maps because that's what they're most comfortable on. And in between now and the round of 16, there's a good few weeks. So I think they'll start to prepare some builds. And I'm sure that the longer this season goes on, the more likely we're to see the newer maps. But right now, maybe a little bit uncomfortable for some of these players.
Yeah. And Whirlwind will be our final choice of map here. So surprise, surprise, as TLO and duckdeok face off against one another. This is the map against Zergs where I've most seen a straight-up 4-gate. We've seen it from Elfie. We saw it from Wellmu against Zerg. I don't think we saw it from... Did we see it from duckdeok?
Well, the thing is, on Whirlwind, a 4-gate on a 4-player map can work sometimes because not many Zerg players drone scout, first of all, against a Protoss player. They may go spawning pool first, but they don't know where their opponent's going to be. And if you get lucky or unlucky as a Zerg player, you may not even see it coming. And then by the time it's there, you don't have any speed, you don't have enough queens. It's very difficult to deal with. So it is a choice, but I don't think duckdeok will do it here.
No, I don't think so either, especially from what we've seen the past 2 games. It seems as if he wants to play a little bit more later into the game. But anyway, guys, we can jump into game number 3 to see who takes this first series of Group B here in Premier League Season 3 for Europe. As we have spawning up to the northern position are Blue Zerg representing Germany and Team Liquid. He is TLO. And down to the bottom right, we have our red Protoss representing Korea and MVP. He is duckdeok.
Duck. All right. This next, I really don't think we're going to see that kind of play. Oh, we can already see by his programming out here. He's going to play this out normal. Could go for a cannon rush.
Could.
The way that this map is played out, because it's 4-player, because it's quite big, you do see a lot of hatchery first plays, because a normal play from Protoss, if it's not Gateway Expand, is for a Nexus first here. So sometimes Zerg players like to run the risk, and TLO's lost tournaments on this risk, bear in mind. What tournament? It was the Asus Good Studio tournament. TLO played in its Elfie in the semi-finals, I think it was, and he decided to go for this. A hatchery first, and he did it every game. And Elfie cannon rushed every game because it was like, if you're going to keep doing it, I'll keep cannon rushing you. And through TLO's stubbornness, he did like to go hatchery first a lot. But against a player like duckdeok, there's absolutely no reason to go hatchery first, but it's very common to do so, especially now, because game number 2, you were shown a Gateway Expand. It not only does hatchery first play to the map, it also plays to the way duckdeok just opened up in game number 2.
Yeah, and it looks like he is going to end up doing that. I was, after, looking at the position that we had there from duckdeok, I was kind of anticipating that as well. And even if he'd have gone for a cannon rush, I bet he'd have scouted clockwise, so he wouldn't have seen him for a while as well.
Yeah, that would have been funny. But with Nexus first down here, the follow-up will be the Forge. Sometimes you can get the second pylon instead of the Forge, just kind of be super greedy. But he has no idea what TLO's doing, so the Forge will follow up, then usually another pylon, then a gateway. And we should see a normal game here. The questions come in terms of what is duckdeok going to try to do to win the series in the mid-game, because in the early stages, there's nothing he can do now. It's going to be way, way too long. If he was to try to rush anything out now, he can't do it. It needs to come out the 8-minute plus mark. If he was to do something fast off this, that's 8 minutes. TLO's got 5 minutes of freedom.
Unless by chance, well, yeah, that's true. I think that maybe we'll see another poke from duckdeok in terms of 3 or 4 gateways worth. He certainly could do it.
Oh, it's really late though, man. With Nexus first, Forge, then Gateway, Cybercore comes down, and then even if you spend all your Chrono Boost in it, it still comes at like 7 minutes 30.
Yeah.
Really late. So if he was to do that kind of push, it is very difficult to pull off. Because TLO, as mentioned, has a lot of freedom. He's already got a gas coming in, he'll get Zergling speed straight up. It is very difficult to pull that off, unless it's not a poke, and it's a full-on drill. And then it's a bunch of gateways, like 8 gateways. If it's something like that, then maybe that could work.
Yep, certainly could do, as we have now duckdeok here scouting clockwise and isn't going to see his opponent for quite a while, unfortunately for him. The Overlord does see now where duckdeok is, so TLO has full knowledge of what's going on at the front of his opponent's base for the most part. Doesn't really know too much about the main, but at this point in time, duckdeok really doesn't have that many resources to actually commit to anything, so he's going to be looking for something in a little bit further.
Yeah, TLO definitely right now has said, all right, this is a normal setup. He's either going to go for a super heavy gateway play, or he'll throw down the Stargate, which is the most likely for normal Protoss players.
Yeah.
Or if it's duckdeok, we could see a robotics facility come down for some kind of a mortal all-in as well. But with the Chrono Boost going down into the Nexus, it seems like he's focusing very heavily on just playing out a normal game here. He may decide to take a fast third base if he doesn't take his gases soon.
Yeah, certainly may do. We've seen some pretty impressive defenses on this map against Zergs. One only has to think back to Todd from yesterday against Targa. So it can be done if you want to get that earlier third. But it is also very, very treacherous. So TLO, for now, just adding on his evolution chamber. Only one just yet. I would have liked to have seen a second one because I think that the heavy upgraded Ling style, I think it works really well on this map.
Well, TLO has seen what his opponent's doing now. He's still a probe move from the natural with the Overlord. He's going to go over and confirm this too. So I would not be surprised to see a second evolution chamber come down, and I would not be surprised to see the same style that he was able to pull off in game number 1, which was their very heavy Zergling approach. It worked wonders for him. If he can pull it off again, it would work. Only if duckdeok sets himself up normal again. But it depends on what duckdeok does now. What does he throw down? Is it robo straight away or is it additional gateways?
Yes, I'm anticipating some kind of tech very soon because he started +1 weapons and then cancelled it. So very, very quick there from duckdeok to actually change his mind. And there's the robo going down for duckdeok.
Yeah, it seems very normal again. Like, very normal, but TLO's already coming across. He's already got Zerglings coming in. He's got a lot more on the way. 26 are out with 10 more. That's 36 in total. There's a cannon ready. He can't photon overcharge a Nexus that isn't ready either. And the gateway's not ready. There's only one gateway here.
Oh,
a single gateway.
This is just going to fall. This cannon and this mothership core are not enough to deal with this. That's so many Zerglings. He has no units either to deal with. There you go, the cancel. Wow, TLO really reading this situation so well.
Well, TLO says, right, if you're just going to take a Nexus this early, your gateway isn't even turned on. It's not even turned on the one gateway there.
And these aren't going to be turned on for much longer either.
No, like, he had no gateways at all.
Uh-oh. This is a really scary thing here for duckdeok. Very scary indeed. Those Zerglings now claiming that position and so much of an investment at that third location that has not paid off for itself and has been completely shut down. He's even just taking the gateways.
And duckdeok he's trying to Chrono Boost out an Immortal. He's supply blocked. And he's throwing down a bunch of gateways. He's just going to go for an Immortal from this position, which is very delayed. Very, 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 very delayed. And he's even changing his plan. He had an Immortal Chrono Boosted. He's gone for a Warp Prism.
Oh,
Yeah, he's trying to figure out, what do I do? How do I do this? What do I do? How am I going to play this? So he's got 3 sentries on the go. He can easily make another one and put that in the warp prism. He's just going to go for an attack.
Yeah.
TLO's already kind of expecting it because he's dealt such a blow to his opponent.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy here. As duckdeok, he's kind of scrambling for an answer. The Season 2 champion is on the ropes at the hands of TLO, who performed so well in Season 1. He's going for the Baneling Nest. His upgrades are finishing. How much did he see with that Hallucinated Phoenix?
duckdeok has got a pylon out on the right-hand side, and he's got a lot of Zealots out too. You know, that's gone undetected so far. There's 28 Zerglings, and only Zerglings. And there's a lot of Zealots coming in.
But he could morph in Baneling so quickly here with the Baneling Nest.
Yeah, it depends on how the sentries are used, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, this is gonna be testy. I'm not quite sure how duckdeok is going to make this work, but at the same time, this has caught his opponent slightly by surprise. Those 2 spines are going to go down pretty quickly, sealing out a lot of units as well with the force fields. This is as good a move duckdeok is going to get.
TLO had no idea about that pylon. He had no idea. He was not prepared for this.
Certainly not. This is a very good position for duckdeok. +1 weapons as well here. Once again, negating that carapace, but it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things here, as TLO now moves forwards with his 2 queens, trying to focus down what he can. Knows he needs to bring down the warp prism, but at the same time, the pylon's not too far behind as well to continue the reinforcement.
Yeah, but TLO's got a lot of roaches on the way.
Yeah.
Despite a lot of gateways warping in a bunch of zealots, what are they going to do against the roaches here? Both time warps have been used.
Yeah, that's true. These roaches could actually seal off duckdeok from doing much of anything here. How many workers has he killed? He hasn't killed that many. It's 54 workers to 49 behind all of this. I think duckdeok's going to try and expand behind this, actually.
Well, we'll see, because right now he's warping in a bunch of units and continue to do so. He's got a lot of money behind this. Stalker's coming in and doing great against these roaches here.
Yeah, they are actually helping out quite a lot, with still a lot of zealots still retained. Army supplies 34 to 35. Killing off a few of those stalkers and making TLO a little bit further in the lead. Those sentries, if they go down, they're a big investment.
Yeah, I mean, every unit right now is a big investment for duckdeok, and I think he's going to give it up. He's going to give it up now, realizing that TLO's got too many units out, and he will fall back onto an expansion, which TLO has an Overlord waiting to see. And Immortal's out with a Colossus on the way, and there's a lot of sentries at home too, so interesting game. TLO definitely caught by surprise with that attack, and it threw him off a little bit. But, as you said, he didn't really lose any drones there, just a lot of units trading against each other.
There's so many Overlords over here. There's 5 Overlords in positions to try and scout things out for TLO. I guess they were just kind of either rallied over there or positioned them, assuming that his opponent was just going to continue that aggression and die off after that. But duckdeok's army behind this, he has a lot of sentries, so a lot of space control if an assault comes when he wants to try and take that. Oh, but he creeps it. That's annoying for duckdeok.
Creeps it. He's a creeper.
He's a creeper.
And duckdeok's still on 1 base. He may go for a 2 base all-in with 2 Colossus here instead, if he can't take his 3rd. But I'd just like to remind everyone from the Season 2 finals, Jaedong versus MC on this map. Jaedong, similar awesome position. And MC was able to drag it out long and pull up a really good fight and win the game. So comebacks are possible here for duckdeok, but it depends on how he's going to play this out. Does he attack and try to finish it early, or does he try to expand here?
It's going to be interesting. He could actually go with 2 Colossus and do a lot of damage.
Yeah, the Spire's only just now come down.
Exactly.
This reminds me of good old days in the early stages of StarCraft 2. I'm like, oh my god, I don't have a Spire and the Colossus are coming.
Uh-oh.
And it's difficult because there's a lot of sentry energy here.
Yeah. This is still a very, very strong push. I guess he was just kind of faking out that 3rd location base and trying to make it look like he was trying to play this out a little bit longer. But now TLO, he's on the back foot. He's in a little bit of trouble if these 2 Colossus do damage.
I think that he's in more than just a lot of trouble. More than that. With so many sentries, so many force fields, how the hell is he ever going to touch the Colossus? And he keeps on warping in Hydras here. So he's not even going to try to use money on the Spire. So as long as the force fields are good, duckdeok could win this.
Needs a good concave, but at the same time, the force fields could quite easily negate that. Great time warp, slowing down those reinforcements from the front here of TLO to try and breach this army. But at the same time, Hydras die off to the left-hand side. More are being roasted as well by these 2 Colossi, really ripping TLO apart, and duckdeok from the clutches of defeat. There you go, GG. Wow. What a fiery game number 3.
Yeah, duckdeok pulling out all the stops here to make sure he can win the first game of the day and put himself in the winner's match. And congratulations to duckdeok. Not through yet, but he is in the winner's match. And a decent performance from him. Much, much better and stronger than Season 2's round 32, by the way.
Yeah. That was a shaky start for him in the round of 32 in Season 2. I was anticipating with him trying to go for a macro style that TLO might actually be able to win this series. And he came close. He really did come close. But duckdeok shows his resilience and shows his mettle.
Yeah, I think the one thing, despite TLO grabbing such an early lead with the Zerglings, he will watch the replay, and I'm quite sure he'll watch it, and will be like, how the hell did he get so many units out so fast? I saw the Warp Prison coming, but all of a sudden you already had 10 Zealots there. And it was because of that pylon on the right-hand side, which went undetected, unscattered. I don't even know how the probe get there myself. And I'm sure that's what TLO will be asking himself too. And that one probe, that one pylon, gave duckdeok the edge to equalize the game, and from there on out, he sealed the deal.
He did indeed. All right, guys. Well, that does it for our first series. Our next series will be Happy versus Sase, and we are going to have that after a short commercial break. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back in just a bit.